Hi, Julie.
Hi, Mike.
Hi. We are in Lyon.
Oh, look, more cyclists.
All cyclists, dangerous cyclists. We're in the square having a cup of coffee on what is day 22, and we haven't posted for ages. And what's become very obvious is that we leave at 7 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and then we walk for 6, 7 hours, and then we get somewhere, and then you have to sort out your rucksack, and then you have to sort out your bed, and then you collapse basically. So it is actually a bit more draining, exhausting.
It is tiring. Yeah.
It is tiring.
But we
We
walked.
sound tired on this, but we're actually all right. Sorry.
Yeah, we walked to Lyon and we decided to stay here for an extra night. So we've got a day off.
This is
We're
our
having
day
a day
off.
off. And I had such a long sleep yesterday. We must have slept for hours and hours. And Mike said to me this morning, what did you say? I don't look so
I didn't. It was subtly careful. I didn't say you look less ragged.
yeah, less ragged.
I
And I
didn't-
obviously do look really ragged. And it's interesting how our, home comforts like a green tea in the morning and, having the space to get ready and to get up
Space.
and to do things gradually are things you get used to, So we've just had a most wonderful, wonderful sleep, and we've come out to have a coffee in this square in Lyon. There's some school children going by, and we've all I've asked for is an espresso, Americano, and Mike's had a coffee. And they've given us 2 amazing pieces of the most beautiful cake you can ever imagine for free in this wonderful place. Yeah.
Well, we've done really well because we're up to 495 kilometres we've done in 21 days, and today's day 22, and we are just going to have a chill day where we actually go and buy a whole new rucksack wardrobe.
Yes, I'm going to do that. I'm fed up with wearing the same things all the time. I'm going to see what we can do here.
We are still wearing our tops though.
It's good for the
So-
it's good for the morale, whatever. But last night we came out. What happens is the Pellegrinos, the people you travel with and you sleep with in your dormitories and you get to know. We bumped into a few of them. Imagine that in Lyon. So there was about how many? About 15
Yeah.
Americans all sitting around a table. We all joined them, and it was lovely. We joined them for dinner.
And we met this most amazing American lady who we've walked with a few times, who we managed to successfully insult on one of the previous previous videos.
What we don't realise that people on the Camino are watching these videos and we're talking about them. And she said, what is that you said about the Americans? Well, I think it was about the Americans that came in their little car and they looked immaculate and then they drove in a taxi. These Americans are really going for it and they're really sweet and they're different, but they're really sweet and lovely.
But it's really interesting to see, there's a certain respect for people who can say, look, I'm doing this, but I'm not doing that, just because there are some purists, such as ourselves, of course, who are walking
And we're
every step of the
incredibly
Camino.
pure. We're so pure, it's untrue.
Pure as the Camino snow. So,
Bueno. We're learning all these little phrases now.
it's what, Italian?
The Italian lady. Bueno. We're getting more dramatic by the moment, which is helping us through. Yeah.
So, no, but it is work. It's a job. It is no likeness to when Lou was speaking. You get up, you get ready, you walk, and you walk some more, and then you really just try to organise your life in the evening to prepare yourself for walking again the next day. I still think 495k. We listed out each day how many miles we've done, and when you see 21 in a row like that, that was something else, wasn't it? It really was impressive. And we have talked, and I was always hoping that we would better lock down some of the our concepts and ideas and premises on video. But we talk about them, and of course that's the time to capture it. But of course that's the time to concentrate, not falling over rocks or down somewhere. And we are injury free, which is pretty phenomenal. Touch wood. So, but one of the things we noticed, we did chat about the other day, was of course about yet again about people's egos and about the greatness of people. And that came to light last night yesterday when we were talking about different nationalities, because Jill made the observation about how people, obviously, of their greatness, of the greater person they are, always just want to be, to feel safe and to be happy. And that's what gives you great camaraderie with any part of humanity, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And then we find that when we meet people who are walking with us, everybody's really embracing and lovely and smiley. But then as soon as you start getting down to the granular of the individual's personality, then the ego comes out, and their premises based on their beliefs, which are based on their limiting beliefs, which then ground in a points of view, don't they? Which they obviously they feel keeps them safe, and that's what creates the difference. And that's what sometimes we observe when we talk about Americans or Germans or French or any other nationality, is how beautiful it is when people just are also generous in their being. But when we start to get granular, it's,
I mean, I think we're known as the nutty, crazy British.
You are.
To make everyone laugh, and they want to. We're a part of the American Camino WhatsApp group, aren't we? We probably won't see any of them ever again, but they put some lovely pictures on of us all sitting around the table, and a guy, it's an Australian chap, sang a song about the Camino, which I'll try and share it somehow, and it's really good. So, we're having and one of the last Albuquerque we stayed in, we met this amazing British guy. He's probably watching this, called Kit. He'd lived in China for the last 12 years or 10 years.
Something like that.
He looked quite young, actually, and he was Derby Public School. Very wonderful, and he was just quite fascinating, from Bristol.
But
so I'm sure we'll meet him along the way somehow.
But he looks like a spitting image
Jack
of
Whitehall.
Jack Whitehall.
I looked at him and said, "Jack Whitehall, Jack," and everybody was calling him Jack Whitehall. And we showed him a video of Jack Whitehall, and he didn't know who it was. No idea who it was.
But so similar.
Yeah, exactly.
And I still sat there when we were having our meal thinking, are you Jack Whitehall? I don't think so, but anyway, but that was quite interesting. But boy, do we meet some people, don't we?
And have you've probably noticed that when we're talking on the videos, we're talking about the people we meet, we're talking about the Albuquerques, and I mean, God, we're in a hotel, and it's just amazing to be in a hotel. I mean, they're not much different price, but we've got a lovely shower and bed and everything else. We've been staying in bunks, sleeping with all sorts of all manner of people. And a lovely young American boy, he's one of the American group, Gunner, he gave me his bunk because I didn't want to be on the top bunk, and he just said, "Hey, ma'am, I'll give you my bunk." Very generous of heart. But we were just saying that if you were staying in hotels all the way around, you wouldn't meet the people, you wouldn't hardly have much to talk about, and it's the whole energy of what we're doing and where we're going. And we meet some lovely, lovely people who are actually, quite used to quite a high standard of living, and they're roughing it, with their sleeping bags and their, and with their bunk beds. And it's actually quite funny, when we all sort of get together and.
But it's the unusual, isn't it?
It's a leveler, isn't it?
The Albuquerques presents unusual situations, which of course you just remember, and they become so sort of ingrained as a moment, which you reflect on and go, that was funny, the shower was awful, the WCs were terrible, things like that. You remember that, well, you don't really remember the hotels, apart from the fact you get a chance to relax.
And whenever you go to a hotel and they check you in, you're exhausted, you think, oh, thank goodness I'm here. And they just look blankly at you and look at their screen as though they've never seen you before. And we always go through this fear of, have we booked in? Is there something wrong? Are they going to arrest us? What's going on? And it seems to be the way. And everywhere you book, if it's a Berkey or it's a hotel, they just stare at you. And then they do things on it, and you have to wait for a while, whatever. It's really interesting how we do that. But anyway, we're going to go shopping, aren't we? This is like a normal day.
Complete new rucksack wardrobe. How about that? Consisting of 2 t-shirts.
We've only got a couple of things. We looked through all our clothes, and we've only got a couple of t-shirts and bits and bobs. But maybe there's time for a change. But it's actually not very warm here.
Oh, it's chilled off, isn't it?
It's freezing.
I mean,
Yeah.
day before yesterday, we walked from. Where did we walk from? We walked
I've
from
no
the day
idea.
before yesterday, whatever. We walked a bit across the Saturday, didn't we?
We need
And
to
that
have
was hairy.
our notes with us when we speak to you, so we
should
can give
do.
you all the names of where we've been.
Well, we did 10k
Yeah.
across the Meseta in the blazing sunshine. I mean, it's not very far, but boy, that was hot. And then day before yesterday, we did 18k on a route which wasn't so straightforward, and everybody recollects that. And it's just nobody, for as far as it's just like Norfolk, really, just flat, arable land, as far as I can see.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful, so much adventures, but it just is. You get to the end of the day, which is only at 3:00 in the afternoon. You think, how on earth can we, start to recover? But 21 days. I mean, people just go straight the way through, and some people take breaks. But anyway, we're here for a day. We're going.
And I'd like to say, any of you Americans watching this, we think you're wonderful. We love you.
I love them all.
You're
really.
really good fun.
I love them all.
And I won't refer to you as those Americans again. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. We'll see.
Always up for a bit of an insult. But
It's
everybody
a good
ends up
sign
loving
of-
you,
Yeah, well, it's a good
regardless
sign
of what you say,
character.
which is beautiful.
Yeah, they don't understand. That's what it is. They don't understand what I'm talking about.
But still, so many adventures. So what we are, if we're at Lyon, we're just over 2/3 of the way. So we've got another 2 weeks.
Mamma mia. Sorry. Yeah.
And we're going to be doing fine. But we're going to have what?
I'm just saying, I hope we don't succumb to the Camino psychosis, which I think I'm teetering on it at the moment, but I think I'll be all right. My experience, my knowledge of psychosis, I'm sure that we can nip it in the bud.
Must admit, Lyon is lovely though.
There's
A lot of French shouting going on at the moment, but we'll leave you with a glimpse of Lyon Cathedral, which is very beautiful, and
Buen Camino.
or Bonjour Camilla sometimes,
Bonjour, Camilla.
as Gilly sometimes says, which is
Absolutely.
always very sweet, or a mix of anything like that, which is good. But the smile radiates, and Jill radiates, don't you?
Oh, God.
You radiate love and peace
And I
wherever you
think
go.
also
which-
you're standing next to me. They think you might thump them if they insult me. So I've got my mind dirty.
So that's something that will. Bye bye.
Bye.